Yo, what's good, YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoot, back with the Draft League World Series. Another speed tour here, and we've got number 15, I believe. And this is a little bit different speed tour. This wasn't our standard speed tour. We did start doing some Little Cup stuff. We did start doing some Uber stuff. And then we had kind of a gimmicky kind of thing going on, a 50-point draft system. So we only had 50 points to work with on this bad boy. And as you can see, I picked up Kieran Black with my first pick, and it's like 18 points or something. So I had like 32 points to work with the rest of my, 32 points to work with the rest of my draft. And I ended up picking up Oricorio, Licky Licky, Piloswine, Primate, Doublade, and Samurai. A bunch of low-tier gods. Kieran Black I don't really need to talk about. I'm sure anybody that's ever played competitive Pokemon knows what Kieran Black does. It has the ability Terravolt, bypasses any other ability and stuff like that. It has insane stats. It's really, really fat. 125 base HP, 170 base attack, 120 base special attack, 95 defenses or something like that, and 95 speed. So it's just a broken Pokemon, and I was able to grab it. And then we had the Oricorio. I've been using it in the CPC. I've also used it in a few speed tours. Currently using it in the Draft League World Series Season 1, the actual World Series, and not just a speed tournament or anything like that. And using it in the Brawl for All Tour. So that's pretty cool. Licky Licky, I've been using it on the channel for a while now. You guys know what it does. Same thing for Oricorio. Piloswine, I haven't used it much, but it's basically Mamoswine with a lot more bulk and a lot less speed and offensive presence. But nonetheless, a good mon, a nice Coco check. Really solid for all kinds of electric types. They can't just bolt switch spam or anything like that. It gives me a stealth rocker on the squad. It is my only stealth rocker, however. But again, if you look at my squad, it's more about just me getting my rocks up, not minding if you get your rocks up, and then using my offense to plow through your entire team. Next up, we've got Primate. Gives me an awesome fighting type. It is a Z-move user as well. Close combat spam is really nice. It gets U-turn. Defiant. The ability to Defiant is really cool in itself. Same thing for my other mons, like I was mentioning. Kieran Black gets Terravolt. Oricorio gets Dancer. I'm sure you guys know what that is by now. Licky Licky gets Oblivious. Piloswine also gets Oblivious, and it gets Thick Fat as well. Primate gets Defiant, it gets Anger Point and Vital Spirit, which is really cool. Doublade gets No Guard, so all of its moves always land, which is amazing. The only unfortunate part about No Guard is that your opponent's moves always land as well. And last but not least, we've got Samurai, a nice water type Pokemon for us. Doesn't have really like anything insane about it, but it's a nice starter type. It's a nice water Pokemon, and it can be very okay for us if we play it right. But yeah, I guess that's basically it. Not too much to say about the squad. I felt a little bit uncomfortable using it. I do have a glaring fighting weakness, but I also do have Oricorio Pa'u and Oricorio Sensu and the Doublade itself, so it shouldn't be too big of an issue. And again, I do have what would look like being spammed by Earthquake, but I have Oricorio, which is a flying type and can kind of combat fighting or ground types myself, and I do have 2 ice types, so really excited to use, or was really excited to use the squad, and I'm really excited to bring you the coverage on these games because they were some really, really good games. So let's go ahead and hop into them. Alright, so here we are with game 1 and facing off against Diet Tight. Has a pretty scary squad actually. He has, as you can see on screen, Celesteela, Mega Audino. Well, I guess you can't tell it's Mega because he also has a camera up. But yeah, that's Mega Audino, Exploud, Lantern, Camera Up, and Como-O, where his Z-move users are potentially Celesteela and Como-O. Yes, he has nothing sitting on the bench. That was his full draft, so I knew exactly what Pokemon he was going to bring, things like that. He couldn't bring something to catch me off guard because he only had 6 Pokemon. The only thing that would have caught me off guard was if he brought 5 or less Pokemon or something. Anyways, so we've got Kieran Black in this matchup. Oricorio, as you can see on screen, Licky Licky, Piloswine, Primeape, and the Doublade. So our Kyurem is a sub roost ice beam earth power variant. It works pretty good versus his squad. I can sub up on the Lantern and potentially like a Leech Seed or a Protect from the Celesteela, things like that. Possibly on the camera up too. So that's something that I just had it in the back of my mind and things like that. And the reason I brought Sub Roost. Ice Beam hits everything on this squad outside of the Lantern, which Earth Power bops pretty good. And next up we've got Oricorio Pom Pom, meaning it's an electric type and a flying type. And we've got Roost, Revelation Dance, and Hurricane, and potentially Defog or Calm Mind. I think probably Calm Mind, maybe Toxic. I'm not real sure on that set. Anyways, Licky Licky, that's the set of the week. Well, set of the match here, in my opinion. We got a Swords Dance, Wish, Return, and Thunder Punch Licky Licky. So after a Swords Dance, Return really rips his team outside of the Celesteela, in which I do have the Thunder Punch for. So if I can get 2 Swords Dances up, Thunder Punch could potentially 2-hit KO a Celesteela, unless it's like max, which is, it's possible. So just something to keep in mind. Next up we have a Piloswine, which is our designated stealth rocker with Earthquake, Icicle Crash, and Ice Shard, I'm pretty sure. And it's very bulky. It takes like 30% from a Scald from Lantern. It takes like 75 from a close combat from an offensive Como and things like that. So it's really cool. And same thing for Celesteela. It does like just a little over half with Heavy Slam. So like it's not a huge threat after I take Stealth Rock damage. I should be able to comfortably live basically any one hit from his entire squad. Piloswine's just that bulky. Next up, we got some more heat here. We've got a bulk up Primeape with Titanium Z on the close combat. So really cool Primeape set. And then we've got a Toxic Protect Doublade with Shadow Claw and an Iron Head, I believe. Potentially have Shadow Sneak over Shadow Claw, but I'm pretty sure it's Shadow Claw. Anyways, that being said, looking at his squad, I felt like he could potentially lead off with Celesteela. He could potentially lead off with Lantern and the Como, but I felt like Como and getting rocks up was a fine lead for him. So I'm actually going to lead off with my Oricorio so that I can just click Hurricane here and bop that thing. He goes out into his Lantern though. I do land my Hurricane, but it bounces off. Lantern's a bulky boy. And what I'm going to do is hard switch into my Piloswine, and I take 25% from Scald. So that's not bad at all. It can't really do too much to me. It does have to switch out for an Earthquake, and it's a really good mon versus my squad, so I can understand why he would preserve that. And I am able to get rocks up as he goes into Celesteela. Now, as he does have Celesteela in, I don't want to take like first of all, Oricorio is a fine switch in to Celesteela. Oricorio Pom Pom is basically a less bulky Zapdos, but still can take on Celesteela pretty comfortably. So I didn't want to be poisoned by Toxic or anything like that, so I decided to go into my Doublade first as he goes for Flash Cannon, and now I'm going to double into my Oricorio because I know he's not going to click Toxic versus something like that. Anyways, he does 40% with Flamethrower, and that's a pretty good chunk, but not able to do enough. I am going to roost up here as he goes into his Lantern, and now I can hard switch into my Kyurem as he has revealed Scald to be his move of choice, and I'm not physical in any way, shape, or form, so I don't mind that. And what I can do here is just click Substitute, but he reveals Dazzling Gleam, so he's got the tech there, he's prepared, he's not going to let me sub up on him, he's got enough special attack investment to always break my sub, and as you can see, he actually does well over 25% there. And I'm going to reveal Earth Power here, which is going to force him to switch against. He needs to keep this for Oricorio. And what I can do predicting his switch, or if he just wants to stay in and click Dazzling Gleam again, roosting is a fine play by me. Because I roost up, I get more health back than I'm losing. So I'm going to roost up here. He goes into the Aldino, and I'm going to hard switch into the Doublade. Predicting probably a Wish or maybe a Protect or something like that, the Scout. But I'm just going to throw off a Toxic here as he goes into the camera up, and it's going to receive the Wish. I felt like attacking there would have been pretty pointless. There was nothing on his squad that I could one-shot, so there was no real reason in attacking there. And throwing off a Toxic like a wish isn't going to stop the toxic damage, you know what I'm saying? And he just got a little bit of health back, nothing even major. So at this point, I'm going to just click protect here as he gets up his stealth rocks. Now I wish I would have attacked there, but it was just a little bit too risky. And now I'm going to switch out to my Licky. I know I'm fat. I know I can take this thing on pretty comfortably. As you can see, it did 21%. This is not Mega Camera Up, so it doesn't have sheer force. And what I can do is just throw off wishes here. And he reveals Earth Power there. And I'm pretty sure he's going to think I'm going to click Protect here. But what I'm going to do, yeah, I'm going to Swords Dance, baby. So I got the Swords Dance Licky here. I'm going to Swords Dance once again as he just clicks Wish here. And now I'm going to start spamming my attacks. I click Return there. It kind of bounces off it, you know, to be 3 times attack. It kind of bounced off. And he caught his Wish back after he went for Dazzling Gleam, which bounced off me as well. Here I throw off a Wish myself. I'm going to eat this Scald up. And as long as I don't get burned, I'm still in a pretty good position. Able to knock out the Lantern here. And now he's going to bring in the X-Cloud. And what I can do here, I'm going to survive this. It bounces off, as you can see. And I'm going to one-shot this thing with Return. So not bad at all. And he brings in the Como-O. Now here's the moment of truth. I have the Chople Berry. And I know he's going to click Close Combat. First of all, if he clicks Dragon Dance, he's going to die. So if he clicks Close Combat, he's also going to die because of the defense drops. So I'm definitely feeling the Close Combat incoming here, but I have the Chople Berry. So I 100% live this, and I'm going to knock him out in return with Return. But he got a crit. He got a critical hit there. So that's a bit unfortunate. But the good thing is, he did go for Close Combat. So he had the defense drops and things like that. Unfortunately for Licky, I'm not getting a 6-0. But that's okay. It's more about winning than it is about differential. So in tournaments and stuff, not when you're just playing for fun, but when you're playing in competitive tournaments, it's more about winning. So here we are, and I know he's going to switch here. He doesn't want to take an attack. He doesn't want to just lose Como-O here, because Como-O could be a huge threat versus the rest of my squad. And I'm going to predict him to save this thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Substitute. I am a Substitute variant for Primate. And now what I'm going to do is click Bulk Up, as he can break my sub on the following turn. It's not too big of an issue. And now I can click Close Combat and basically claim a life. So that's what I'm going to do here, as now he's going to bring in his Mega Aldino. And it's a little bit too risky to bulk up or anything right on this turn. My play is to click All Out Pummeling, predicting a potential Wish on his end. If he clicks Wish, as I throw off a Close Combat here, I could potentially knock him out. But there's also a potential that I don't knock him out. So what I'm going to do is click the All Out Pummeling instead. And even if he does Protect, first of all, if he wishes, he dies. But if he clicks Protect on the following turn, my Close Combat will 100% knock him out. So I'm going to click All Out Pummeling here, and it's okay that he protected here. I'm still going to get 16% damage off and put him at 50%. And now he's in range of a plus 1 Close Combat. But yeah, I got kind of a low roll there, and I wasn't able to knock him out, and he's going to be able to throw off a Wish here. So what I'm going to do is click Close Combat again, and he didn't protect there. He was fearing the Substitute, so he didn't click Wish, which was a fine play. I kind of assumed that he would do that, and I didn't want to just click Sub there and him break my sub and get his Wish back at the same time. So I clicked Close Combat back to back, and it worked out for me. Was able to get rid of that bad boy, and now he brings in the Celesteela. I don't want to lose Primate just yet, so I'm going to go out to my Oricorio as he clicks the Autotomize. So here's where things are getting interesting. He's trying to pull it back with Celesteela, and he's going for the Z move. He reveals the Corkscrew Crash here, and I'm going to Roost Up. So I survived that, and that bounced off. And now we're in a position to keep roosting up. And we're going to take the opportunity to get some chip damage off. We know we're going to be out of range of Flamethrower here, and we can roost up on the following turn. Boom, get back up to 59% after leftovers. Can roost up once more. And I think we're going to roost up once more after this. And the Air Slash, we roost up once more, and now we're back at full. So now the plan is to click Revelation Dance. And we are out of range of a Dragon Claw from Como-o, so we can just click Hurricane here, and it shouldn't be too big of an issue. Excuse me. First of all, we have to click Taunt because we don't want this thing to set up a Dragon Dance. And he actually does Dragon Dance, so that was perfect for us. Taunt this bad boy, and now we can click Hurricane. As we do get that right, and we're able to knock him out. Well, we will be able to knock him out on the following Hurricane, but we actually miss, and he gets the roll here to knock us out with Dragon Claw. But, you know, we are faster with Primeape at this point. He did reveal to be slower than our Oricorio, so we knew our Primeape could also outspeed, and we're able to knock him out. And that's going to be game one, a nice 4-0 victory there. Licky, Oricorio, and Primeape really putting in the work in this match, and I couldn't be happier about that, especially Primeape. If y'all know me, y'all know Primeape is one of my favorite Pokemon, period. It is number 2 on my list of all-time Pokemon. Anyways, that's going to be it. Whoa, I about cut off there. No, we got game 2 coming up, so we're going to go ahead and hop into game 2, and we'll be right back. Alright, so here we got game 2, and we're facing off against Barigo, who is seemingly a known battler. I don't actually know him. I did see him pop up in the CPC sometime during the season. I don't think he was an original coach, but maybe he took over for somebody. I'm not sure. I saw him play a couple other players, though, and he's definitely got some skills. So I was looking forward to this match as well, where we're bringing our Kieran Black, Oricorio, Licky, Piloswine, excuse me, Primeape, and the Samurai. And my opponent chooses to bring Greninja, Heracross, the Magmortar, I forgot that thing's name, Munchlax. How could I? I'm sorry, Curtis. Munchlax, Masharna, and the Sandslash, choosing to leave Electivire and his Boldore at home. His Z-move users are potentially Greninja and Electivire. So, pretty cool squad. Mega Heracross is a monster. I love that bad boy. But, yeah, the only Z-move potential he has in this matchup in particular is Greninja. So, I don't have to worry about anything else outside of Greninja having Z-moves. And that's pretty fair for me. So I have a Life Orb Kieran Black with Dragon Pulse, and I think Ice Beam. Dragon Pulse and Ice Beam being my moves of choice, and probably Roost to negate Life Orb damage. I have Oricorio Sensu here with Calm Mind, Roost, and Revelation Dance. Really cool set. And I think my last move is either Hurricane or Taunt. Next up, we have a Wish Protect Licky with Earthquake. Checks the Magmortar pretty good. Piloswine has Toxic, Earthquake, and Stealth Rocks. Designated Stealth Rocker, and throwing off Toxic there. It's really nice for things like Masharna, Mega Heracross upon switch in, and like the Munchlax. So that's really nice for that. And next up we have Primeape. So Primeape is a really cool set in this matchup. We have the Expert Belt, which boosts their damage output by I think 1.2. So that's really nice. We have U-Turn, so that we can get, you know, significant damage off on the Masharna. We have Close Combat, which is very spammable versus this squad. And then we've got the tech. We've got Vacuum Wave for the Greninja. Can potentially catch that thing off guard if it's weakened enough and hit it up with a Vacuum Wave there. And having the Expert Belt to boost that could potentially pick off a weakened Greninja before it even knows what happens. And our last move is for the Mega Heracross. We're packing the Aerial Ace. After a little bit of chip damage and coming in on a close... So if Heracross comes in on rocks twice and takes a close combat, Expert Belt boosted Aerial Ace should knock it out. And then last but not least, we have Samurai, which is an Encore Taunt Toxic variant. It's my check to Munchlax. It's pretty cool. So we'll see if that comes into play during the match. It would be really cool if it did. And hopefully we can get some work out of it. Anyways, his only potential Stealth Rocker in this match is the Sandslash. And I felt like leading off with my Oricorio and setting up immediately would be well against that. So what I'm going to do is lead off with my Oricorio, just like I just mentioned. And I'm going to click Calm Mind as he goes for the Rock Slide. And it does, you know, 30-some% there. Not enough at all. And he's going to miss the next Rock Slide. So that would have done another 30% or so. But it's still not enough to knock me out, and I could just roost off the damage. So that's not too big of a deal there. Not a big deal at all, in my opinion. And he's going to go for the Rock Slide here as well. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start roosting up. I'm going to reveal Roost My opponent's actually going to predict that, though. He's going to predict me to roost, and he's going to click Earthquake, which is a really nice play on his part. But now he's in a position to where he doesn't know if I'm going to click Calm Mind, roost, or attack. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roost back up, and I'm in a position to knock him out still. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and knock him out here. And now he brings in Magmortar, and I don't want him to catch me off guard, and I definitely don't want him to get a Thunderbolt paralysis. So I'm going to hard switch into my Piloswine. And this is things where, you know, some players just don't understand. Like, if you play to the point where you don't ever put yourself in a position to be haxed, you could put yourself, you know, in a whole lot better positions. Just like that. Had I stayed in there and I got paralyzed, and then he was able to get, you know, I got fully paralyzed a couple times and he was able to beat me with Thunderbolt, I couldn't complain about that because I stayed in and allowed myself to be paralyzed, despite the small chance that it would be when I had a electric immunity in the back. So I go into Piloswine here, immune to the Thunderbolt, and I can throw off an Earthquake, but what I'm actually going to do is get up my rocks, and here I'm going to stay in. I'm going to stay in here. He can't click Close Combat because I have a Ghost Type in the back, and he's going to predict that and go for the Rock Blast, and that's fine by me. I'm going to go ahead and throw off a Toxic here. He gets a crit. I don't think it mattered. I don't think it mattered at all. So here he's going to go for Rock Blast again, and I'm actually going to get this play right too. I don't need Piloswine anymore. Yeah, it's nice to have, but I've already got my rocks up, and I've got a Toxic on to make a Heracross. So at this point, I don't mind to let this bad boy go down. And now that he's down, I bring in my Primeape, trying to force him out. You know, like, why would I bring a Primeape in if I didn't have Aerial Ace? So I figured he would scout Primeape's moveset and see that I have an Aerial Ace and switch out, but he actually didn't. He just stayed in. It took my U-turn, took 9%, and I'm going to go into my Oricorio here, predicting the Close Combat, but he actually goes for Rock Blast again, and he gets me. So I have to take a moment here, a moment of silence. Alright, so there was a moment of silence for Oricorio. I failed you. I failed you many times. I failed you, Oricorio, more than you have ever failed me. You have never failed me, Oricorio. I just want you to know that, and I'm sorry. Alright, so now what I can do is bring in my Kieran Black and just knock this bad boy out. I know he can't be faster than me. And just go ahead and click Dragon Pulse. He has no Fairy type, and I can just go ahead and spam that. He brings in the Magmortar, and I'm going to hard switch into my Samurai here as he goes for the Flame Charge, and that's not too bad at all. He can't knock me out from this range, so I can stay in. But I am gonna pull a switch out, predicting him to switch. So I predicted him to switch out, but he didn't. So now I'm in a position to where if he can land his Focus Blast and he lands 2 in a row, he can knock me out. So here, yeah, he would have to get a max roll, obviously, too. So what I'm going to do is click Earthquake, as I knew I could take any one hit from this thing. And I know my Samurai can also, you know, all I got to do is put him in range of Samurai. So what I did here was attack with Earthquake, and now he goes for Focus Blast again, and he misses again, and that's so unfortunate. Like, this makes the game so unfun. Anyways, yeah, missing back to back is so unfun. So now I'm in a position to where, as you can see there, it did 48%. So without a Spadef drop, he would have had a hard time 2-hit KOing me, especially with Wish Protect and leftovers and stuff like that. But there was still a chance, you know what I'm saying? He could have also got a crit. He did get a Spadef drop, so there was a way that his Magmortar could have broke my Licky Licky, and now, you know, he doesn't really have a way. Anyways, now that Magmortar's down, he brings in his Munchlax, and this is a huge threat. If you know Snorlax, Munchlax does the same thing, it's just a little bit smaller. So I'm going to hard switch into my Samurai, and I'm going to Encore him. I'm going to Encore him into Curse. So now he has to keep cursing up, and what I can do is Toxic him. I missed the first Toxic, not too big of an issue. I'm going to go for it again, and I get it right. I land it this time too, and he's Encored into Curse, but now his Encore ends. What I can do though is just click Encore again, and Encore, first of all, taunt him. Prevent him from clicking Rest or anything weird like that. And he does switch out to the Masharna, which actually gives me another Toxic to throw off. But this thing has the synchronize ability, and it's going to synchronize me as well. But it's not the end of the world. At this point, as long as the Munchlax doesn't have a free curse up, then my Primate will always deal with it, so it's not too big of an issue. And I'm going to switch out to my Licky Licky at this point. I can eat up these Dazzling Gleams, things like that. Throw off a Wish here as he Heal Bells. So now the Munchlax and the Masharna are no longer poisoned, and my Licky Licky is again kind of setup fodder. So I'm going to hard switch into my Kyurem so that I can always just spam Dragon Pulse, and I catch my Wish here as well. So now I'm going to spam Dragon Pulse a little bit. It almost does half to Masharna, but not quite. And Dazzling Gleam is actually doing near 40% to me, which is quite a bit of damage in all honesty. But yeah, I'm going to eventually be able to knock this thing out. It does not have enough Moonlights to stall out my Dragon Pulses. And now I'm going to click Sub. Unfortunately, he gets that play right and goes for the Dazzling Gleam. But I'm going to Roost up on the following turn as he clicks Dazzling Gleam again. Does 36%, so consistently doing close to 40, but not quite 40% yet. So I'm pretty okay with that. And he goes for the Shadow Ball on this turn, and that was a good one for me actually, because I needed that. I needed to get Kyurem out of there with quite a bit of health still intact. But here he's going to go into his Munchlax, and I'm going to throw off a Wish, and then my play is going to be to go out into my Primate because I can take any one hit as he goes for the Body Slam, and he gets a critical hit. He got a critical hit there, and but luckily he didn't get a paralysis. So Licky Licky being the fat monster it is, my Wish puts my Primate back at full health. So I'm pretty happy about that. I'm going to just click Close Combat here, and I knock out the Munchlax. Perfect for me. Now he brings in his Greninja, and I'm going to hard switch out into my Licky Licky. And you can see on the right hand side, he asked me if my Primate was banded. Of course, I cannot get my set out just yet because I don't, I can't do that just yet. The game's not over yet, so I'm not going to do that. And he's going to bring in his Masharna here, and his moves are going to bounce off of me, really. He's going to pull a switch out into his Greninja as well, and I think he's going to go for a low kick, and it's going to bounce off. I'm going to get my Wish back and click Earthquake, and my opponent's going to, I believe, forfeit here, saying that he can't win because he can't beat my Licky Licky. So my opponent forfeits, Licky Licky able to come through there. Unfortunately, he did forfeit. I was hoping to eventually be able to sack off my Samurott, potentially, and then bring in Primate to click the Vacuum Wave versus the Greninja, and then to click U-turn, and U-turn out into my Primate, or excuse me, U-turn from my Primate out into Kyurem Black, potentially sack that thing off and bring back in Primate, just to pick up the last kills. I love Primate getting kills and stuff like that. Anyways, that's going to be game 2, and we're going to move on to game 3 now. Alright, well, it took a second. I just lost my train of thought there for a second. Anyways, here we are with game 3, and we're facing off against Ashenmore, or Brobat 9000, who has a very scary squad. He's got the Tapu Koko, the top null, as you can see on screen, Bronzong, the Quillfish, Scrafty, and the Swoobat. He didn't bring the Golbat, so that's okay. His potential Z-move users, he's brought both of them, Tapu Koko and Quillfish. Probably Tapu Koko. Don't really see Quillfish being, an offensive Z-move user or anything like that, unless, I guess it could be. I have seen Swords Dance, Quillfish sweep teams before. Shout out to my boy Sebi VGC. Anyways, very scary squad here. We've got Oricorio with Revelation Dance, of course, can spam that versus my opponent's squad. That in conjunction with Hurricane, really, he doesn't have a switch into that. Scrafty is his resistance to Ghost, and then Top Null is his immunity to Ghost, both of which aren't resistant to Hurricane or anything like that. Excuse me. We've got Roost on Oricorio, as well as Defog. We've got Defog on there because Quillfish can be a hazard stacker, and we don't want any shenanigans like that. Next up we have Licky Licky with Wish, Protect, and Earthquake. Pretty standard, kind of a check to Coco and Quillfish and things like that. And I think our last move is knockoff on that bad boy. And we skip Kyurem Black. We have a Life Orb Kyurem Black with Ice Beam, Earth Power, Roost, and I think our last move is Substitute. We spam Sub Kyurem. Sub Roost Kyurem is a monster with Life Orb. It doesn't really, it usually only needs like one of its 2 stab options and then a coverage move. Earth Power, Fusion Bolt, whatever it may be. Next, I think we have a Choice Scarf Primate. with Close Combat, U-Turn, Earthquake, and Gunshot. And then we have a Doublade with Sacred Sword, Shadow Claw, I believe Swords Dance, and Shadow Sneak. And then our Piloswine is our Stealth Rock user, of course, and we have Earthquake, Icicle Crash, and Ice Shard on that bad boy. So let's go ahead and hop into it here. We're going to lead off with our Oricorio once again. Basically, the reason we led off with Oricorio in this matchup was because of Swoobat. Swoobat was a huge threat. We didn't want it to be if it was his lead, it could have just potentially swept my entire team, or it could put the rest of his squad in a position to sweep my entire team. So I can't let that happen. I'll lead off with my Oricorio, go straight for the Revelation Dance because I'm not playing any games with that damn Swoobat. And he goes for the Thunder Wave, and I get that right going into my Piloswine. And here I'm going to get this right, just going straight for my rocks, not minding what he does. Now I'm going to hard switch into my Doublade as my opponent goes for Iron Head. And as you can see, in the first first 3 turns here, I've gotten every play right. I've got the lead matchup right. I predicted the Thunder Wave went into my Piloswine. I predicted his switch, got up my Stealth Rocks, and I didn't necessarily predict an Iron Head, but I did get the top advantage right here going into my Doublade. So now what I'm going to do is predict his Scrafty to come out, and I'm going to click Sacred Sword. Or is it Secret Sword? No, it is Sacred Sword. And it does 52%, and I'm an Eviolite, so I know I can take any one hit from this Scrafty. He goes for the knockoff, it does 43%. I'm going to knock him out here with the second Sacred Sword, and able to get rid of Scrafty, which was a huge threat to the rest of my squad, a huge threat to things like Kieran Black, Licky, and Piloswine. He brings in his Bronzong, and I'm not sure why. I have no clue why he brought in his Bronzong here. I'm going to go for the Shadow Claw, and he reveals his move to hit me with his Iron Head. So what I'm going to do here is, use Iron Head's gonna bounce off of me. It can 3-hit KO me, which means I can get 2 Swords Dances up and then attack. But he does switch into his Quillfish, which prompts me to switch into my Licky. Not too big of a deal at all. And now he's gonna taunt me, but I have the Oblivious ability, and I can just wish and protect right through the taunt. It's not a big deal at all. And he is gonna Thunder Wave me though, and I'm gonna reveal Earthquake here. I get a critical hit, and it does 41%. So this thing's quite bulky here, and Licky is obviously not that strong. And I'm going to pull a switch out into my Kieran Black here. Reason being was Swoobat and Bronzong were both easy switch-ins to Earthquake. So I'll pull a switch out into Kieran Black knowing that I can potentially outspeed Swoobat and go for the Ice Beam and knock it out, or Earth Power versus Bronzong. And I am able to get rid of Swoobat here. He brings in the Bronzong here, I guess assuming that I didn't have Earth Power. And I reveal Earth Power there and knock him out. Oh yeah, he says in the chat that he forgot that about Terravolt. So I'm going to switch back into Licky here on the Thunder Wave, because I'm already paralyzed. Paralyzed. I get full paired there. It's not too big of an issue. And I'm just going to hard switch into my Piloswine here as my opponent goes for the Pain Split, and I can start spamming Earthquake at this point. But really, I don't want to take a Surf. He did reveal Surf earlier, so I'm going to hard switch into Kieran Black, and now I can start spamming Earth Power. And Earth Power is going to knock out this bad boy. Easy, really. And now he's going to bring in his Tapu Koko. And I am a fat Kieran Black. Plus, Koko's not that strong without a boosting item. And I'm able to knock this thing out with an Earth Power as well, leaving only his top Null, which is a normal type Pokemon, so I can bring in my Primeape here and just reveal Close Combat and knock this thing out with one shot. And this finals match was a really fast-paced finals match. I feel like I got every turn right, just followed my gut, and was luckily able to put myself in a position to where my prep and my plays really just carried me through this match. I didn't have to think too long or anything like that, and was able to pick up a nice 5-0 victory here in the first 50-point draft that we did. So that was pretty fun, and I'm really excited about that. Anyways, that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys thought about the prep and the plays on both sides of the field for the entire, well, I guess it was just 3 matches, so it's not too big of a tournament. But yeah, really fun nonetheless. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching.